Hey, this video is for all you YouTubers out there attempting to build a friction bike. So I hope this helps you out some. I built one for my son on a little 16-inch rim bike. It turned out so well, I built one for myself. Uh, the most challenging part for me was, not only trying to find the right position to mount the motor, but which no one really touches on the YouTube videos, is the peg. It's a nightmare. I stripped one flywheel attempting this, but the issue is when you take all the housing off and you have the shaft here, the threads are on the outside of this. This is a Ryobi 31cc motor. Maybe other people have different type motors and the threads are down here, which would make it a whole lot easier to mount a peg. But this is what I have, and what I buy is Ryobi. So the threads are out here, which does make it a challenge to mount a peg because you have to come up with a way. Anyway, I made a cylinder myself and put the peg on, then the cylinder, then mounted it with a reverse thread nut, which wasn't easy to find, but Home Depot does have it. So that's how it came out. And then for extra protection, I actually have some thread all going to the center of the shaft right here. Sorry for the camera action. And then with the thread all to the center of the shaft, then I bought a threaded coupler, which is to a washer, which is even pushing it into the flywheel even more. So it's like double protection. On mine, didn't need to do that. I left the plastic cover on, so the threads were closer towards the end because this takes up so much room after the flywheel. Then you got the pull start. So this was a whole lot easier to mount the peg. Okay, so that's it for the peg action. The angle irons. Well, I did both of these builds for, well, they were 14 a piece, so, for under $30, I took care of both of these builds. I have the motors and the bike, so that does help out a lot. The angle irons. I bought a 6-foot, I think it's a 6-foot stick of angle iron. This is what I have left. It's angle iron. Sorry. And you just have to configure a way of mounting it. I've seen several types of ways to mount it. This was my second attempt. I did mount it to the bottom frame here the first try. Didn't get the right tension, so readjusted everything and went with this V shape, which turned out really well. I used the existing holes already in the motor. Then I came out with a cross beam right here for added support, which I didn't really need, but safety first. Didn't need a welder. Everyone assumes, well, just weld this, and we don't all have TIG welders around, so I just had a 5/16 metal drill bit and drilled out to the frame and used all 5/16 nuts and bolts. And you mount it to the existing holes that are already in the motor. I don't know if you can see all that, it's kind of dark. The other thing was you definitely have to grind the angle iron to fit the contour of the flywheel. Not a problem. And like I said, you use the existing holes here for all your mounts, and it is really secure. Really secure. To keep the tension, saw several ways to do that. With this one, I went with the turnbuckle. I just adjust it to the tension that I want. When he's not riding it, I just release the tension so it's not constantly putting any pressure on there. And So when he's ready to ride, I just give it some tension. On mine, my wheel is a little out of line. Not left and right, but just up and down. So I didn't want to constantly put tension on there. So I got this spring. So my whole motor can move with the disconfiguration of the wheel. It's not that bad, but I'm a perfectionist. And so that did come out right. All right. On mine, because I left the plastic housing cover on there, I had to come up with a way to mount the motor a little further away from the frame. So I just doubled up on my angle irons, which kind of made this little square frame, which gave me about an inch more of space, and then just drilled it to the frame. And I'd still use that V-shaped design. I don't think you can see it. It's a little too dark. I do apologize. And that worked out well. Like I said, there's no welding involved. It's all drilled, and it's really secure. For the throttle, I use the existing brakes that are already on the bike, and I have a kill switch. I just extended that out with some wires. I drilled a hole through the frame and ran my wires through the frame to keep some tension on the spring. I mean the throttle. I added a spring. Don't know if you can see that. And also added another spring to the throttle here, a little pen. Busted open a pen and used that spring. Works out well. Did the same thing for my sons. Used the existing brake cable, the brake, and then just added a little spring action right there. Don't know if you can see that. And tied that down with a clamp and a butt connector to tie the cables together. Just a minute. And that's tied to the accelerator. So I use the existing throttle from the weed whacker and then tied that on to the brake line, and where the two meet, just use a butt connector, and it works out really well. What else? The kill switches, I already went over that. And that's about it. Mine, I got a pull start, which works out great. You just pedal, pull start it, and you take off. My bike's a little heavier. I'm a little heavier. And you know, my bike goes about 20 miles an hour. It's not bad. My son's about 55 pounds. A little 16-inch rim bike, so he flies. He's going, I'm going to assume at least 30 miles an hour. His is a little more difficult to start because I got the tensioner on, so the peg's really giving a lot of pressure to the tire. So he has to pedal. Sometimes I got to give him a little push. So stopping is definitely you don't want to stop, but it's a little more difficult to start. But once he gets going, like I said, this thing's like a bullet. And that's about it. So I hope that helped you out. Any questions, feel free to write. I'll answer any and all questions for whatever problems you're going through. On a scale from 1 to 10, it's about a 5. It's not that bad. It was challenging for the first time, but after the first one, the second one was much easier. And if I do another one, my buddy's got another 20-inch bike, so we might do that one. You know, once you build these, you don't want to pedal anymore. It becomes too much fun. Anyway, I hope that helps you out, and thanks for watching, and take it easy.